So this lot, first of all, sent me an email. So here's the email. Strictly private and confidential, not for publication. Gemma Fleetwood is her name. Strictly private and confidential, not for publication. See that? You have no right to threaten to sue me and tell me I can't tell people about it. And the SRA are very clear that you should not have done that, Gemma Fleetwood. So I put Gemma Fleetwood's photograph on Twitter. These bullies, that's what they are, bullies. Let's get on with what they had to say. So you can see their client, and again, strictly private and confidential. We act for Medlock Medical Practice, Royton Medical Practice, and Dr CHAUHAN. Together, our clients. So 3 of them are their clients. So that suggests immediately that Medlock Medical Practice and Royton Medical Practice, as in you, because they get the income from the public purse, are paying these solicitors firm. And this solicitors firm also is the official Oldham Council. No, you're right, Oldhamite. It's the least people could do. It's clicking like. It's the least people could do, but they don't, mate. So what do you want me to say? Please acknowledge receipt of this letter, so you can see that, and the enclosed undertakings within 48 hours. So they want me to respond within 48 hours. You may wish to take legal advice to stop our clients required to take to avoid the issue of legal proceedings. Apparently, this letter is because of the seriousness of the statements are published online and the impact on our client's business. Apparently, I've had a serious impact on Dr. CHAUHAN's business. How have I had a serious impact on Dr. CHAUHAN's business? Again, this threat, if you fail to adequately respond to this letter within the 48-hour period, we expect to be instructed to issue an injunction against me to prohibit you from making any further false and misleading statements relating to our client. So they're claiming I've made false and misleading statements. Medlock and Royton are both medical practices situated in the borough of Oldham. As you know, Dr. CHAUHAN is a medical doctor, a general practitioner, and a partner in Medlock and Royton. Well, thank you for confirming he's a partner, particularly in Royton, because his name was taken off. He is also a councillor for Oldham Council and a member of the Labour Party. As a doctor working for the National Health Service, Dr. CHAUHAN is a trusted public figure. Thank you. It wasn't me that received the poor CQC reports. He did that all by himself. The public place a significant amount of trust and confidence in our clients. So why aren't your clients facing up to the public? The statements made by you have therefore caused extremely serious and significant harm to our clients and their reputations. Remember, all I did was go through the CQC report and make it and disclose to the public, expose. They objected to me using the word expose, by the way, that of Dr. CHAUHAN's role at Royton Medical Centre. Apparently, I operate these 3 pages, the Recusant 9 Facebook page, something on Twitter, and the YouTube. Apparently, I host a podcast on Spotify. I've never hosted a podcast on Spotify. But on my webpage, you purport to be providing, inverted commas, a platform to articulate and raise the legitimate concerns of working class groups that mainstream politicians and policy makers have forsaken. You also purport to have been responsible for ousting various Labour Party figures and suggest that various political leaders have sought to silence your work. What any of this has got to do with JLL solicitors, I don't know. To that end, you appear to have grievances with various members of the Labour Party. What absolute bollocks! It's clear what I have. You've said it there. You've said it there. What I do. I provide a platform to articulate and raise the legitimate concerns of working class groups that mainstream politicians and policy makers have forsaken. That's what I do. Whilst you propose to be working to expose local government corruption, and your posts, particularly in relation to our clients, are obviously untrue and misleading. Despite prior communications with our clients, that's completely fabricated. There's been no prior communications with your clients. They've never contacted me. You have continued to conduct a smear campaign. So me sharing with you the findings of the CQC report is me conducting a smear campaign. And I've published defamatory material. So they go through what they claim I've done. Given the extent of social media posts, we do not seek to repeat the social media posts in full, and we are unable to generate all content which refers to our clients. Instead, we refer to the very serious allegations made in turn. So, allegation A. Relating Royton putting lives at risk, allegations of misconduct and being a death trap, with reference to Royton CQC inspection. There was an old woman at that public meeting who made specific reference to lives put at risk. Allegations of misconduct. Well, I don't make any allegations. It's in terms of, I don't know if misconduct is the right word, but the failings are there. The failings, has that naughty CQC been telling lies? Exactly, mate. Exactly. I refer to it as a death trap, and I have used the term death trap. You also make reference to the Quality Care Commission. Derogatory comments. Well, I'm afraid me making derogatory comments is not libelous. And the term death trap, I've quantified. It's the Oxford Dictionary definition, not the definition you've sneaked in here, which I'll find and show people, but the Oxford Dictionary definition that I also shared with people. So I didn't leave it to ambiguity. I was clear on using the term death trap, what I actually meant, which is the definition in the Oxford Dictionary. And I'll just bring that up. Just so we're all clear, I will bring that up. Death trap. A place, structure, or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous. That's what the word means in the dictionary. You can see it there. A place, structure, or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous. And it is my position, based upon what I've read from the Care Quality Commission's report, and I'm allowed to hold this opinion, because I've not just plucked it out from thin air, that Royton Medical Centre is potentially very dangerous. I know it's uncomfortable, but me having that opinion based upon the Care Quality Commission's report, yeah, try it. We assume you have carefully studied the CQC report, and we remind you that Royton was rated good in 2 categories. Well, I don't care that you want to remind me that Royton was rated good in 2 categories, because I've also made reference to how Royton was rated good in 2 categories. And likewise, I've made specific reference to the statutory breaches that the CQC found. The statutory breaches. Whilst Royton and our clients generally acknowledge there is the requirement for improvement, the false allegations, well, what's the false allegation? Go far beyond any improvement action required by the CQC report. No. The leader of Oldham Council, in an email, has confirmed that she agrees that the CQC report was damning. The leader of Oldham Council agrees that the CQC report was into Royton Health Centre was damning. It's not a weak word, is it? So Amanda CHADDERTON used the word condemn. Damning. On 8th of November 2022, in a Facebook post, he referred to Dr CHAUHAN covering up the risk to lives of elderly residents, hiding the direct Labour Party links to Royton Medical Centre, and referred to the CQC horrific findings. Well, the CQC horrific findings, I think the term horrific findings, I find that horrific. Does anyone believe that I'm going to be sued for reading that CQC report and reading its findings and determining that they were horrific? I doubt it. Now, on the Facebook page, I refer to Dr CHAUHAN covering up the risk to lives of elderly residents and the direct Labour Party links with Royton. You can misquote me if you want, but if you want to sue me, the entire post will have to go up, and you'll find that how you're trying to spin it, Gemma, is not. You're not going to get away with it. There is also a reference to the lives of thousands of Royton folk being put at risk. Well, that surgery has 6,000 patients on its roll register, and it has multiple statutory breaches. You also compare our client's conduct to covering up child abuse. Actually, I do know such thing. I actually know such thing. I refer specifically to Oldham Council's, the politicians' refusal to speak out on this. So it's not your client I'm making reference to in that post. It's the councillors who've refused to speak out. So I'm happy for you to use that Facebook post, because I'll show you exactly what that Facebook post says. The post also includes a link to the following YouTube video titled Royton Medical Centre Medical Care Mirpur Style. Well, Dr CHAUHAN's on record as saying he's from Mirpur and how proud he is that he's from Mirpur. It's how he defended himself when he announced his position as deputy mayor in Mirpur. Not in Oldham, but in Mirpur. The video clearly refers to our client Royton and makes reference to lives being put at risk by the practice and failures relating to obtaining appropriate DBS checks, which you say basically means a rape gang member or convicted sex offender, look how they stop there, would be able to obtain employment at the practice and have access to children and the elderly. You also refer in your Facebook post sharing the video that has been viewed by nearly 500 people. Well, you can go online and see how many people have viewed it, but let me go back for this. Why were DBS checks introduced, people? DBS checks were introduced to protect, to make sure that inappropriate people with dangerous convictions could not access children of vulnerable individuals. That's why DBS checks were introduced. So if DBS checks aren't conducted, and the Care Quality Commission confirms DBS checks weren't conducted, does it not mean that a convicted sex offender could be hired? Is that on me? You should have carried out your DBS checks. This averment, is entirely fabricated. How is it completely fabricated? The Care Quality Commission confirmed DBS checks had not been carried out. I've not gone out to cause serious harm to your client's reputation. I'm outraged that your client has been hiring staff without DBS checks. Because as someone who's worked with children and vulnerable adults all my life, I know the risks that poses. We understand reference to DBS checks relates to the CQC inspection, and the system for DBS checks requires improvement. So you're admitting it. The CQC report does not state that our client employs convicted criminals. I did not state that your client employs convicted criminals. To make these false allegations is very serious indeed. These allegations are likely to... Okay, let's look back at exactly what I've said according to your own post. Basically means a rape gang member, a convicted sex offender, would be able to obtain employment at the practice. Whether have I said that Royton Medical Centre employs convicted criminals? I haven't, have I? But you've admitted yourselves in the DBS failings, and it's there in black and white in the Care Quality Commission. They're not allegations. It's in the CQC report. It's in the sentence beforehand. Your client didn't carry out DBS checks. Apparently what I've done will cause significant distress in the minds of their clients' patients, many whom are vulnerable people. Well then, meet with them. Meet with them and apologise for your failings and say you've now fixed it. Instead of wasting your time going to lawyers to write to me, why don't you meet with your patients in a public meeting, Dr. CHAUHAN, and apologise and share with them, as you've shared with Jim McMahon, the steps you've taken to fix it. Let's carry on. You also make reference to Dr. CHAUHAN and Royton employing staff that are not adequately qualified, failing to record complaints, which is evidence of a cover-up, and the CQC calling a senior partner a liar. We understand you are referring to Dr. CHAUHAN in this instance. I wasn't referring to Dr. CHAUHAN. I'm very clear. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is because they use the term senior partner. I don't know who it is. It is extremely serious to suggest that our clients are acting deceptively and failing to employ appropriate staff. I'm not the one who's suggesting this. I'm reading the Care Quality Commission's own report. As medical practitioners, the public place significant trust and confidence in their clients. Dr CHAUHAN is responsible for the treatment of sick and vulnerable people and provides national health services. As such, it is highly damaging for you to continue publicise malicious and unjustified statements related to our client's work. Every statement I'm making in reference to your client's work is extracted from the Care Quality Commission's report. On the 9th of November and the 10th of November 2022, you again posted various tweets referring to Royton putting lives at risk. Have I made this up? But did the Care Quality Commission not talk about these doctor hot boxes or whatever they were with equipment missing? Am I making this up? Or did the Care Quality Commission not talk about emergency medicine not being there or being lost and not being filed properly? Am I making this up? Or did the Care Quality Commission not identify repeat prescriptions or whatever being signed off without the adequate checks? And so on and so on and so on. They don't like me using the word damning findings. Well, I'm afraid the findings were damning because the leader of Oldham Council, Amanda CHADDERTON, in black and white, has used the word damning. He also referred to Dr CHAUHAN having lied. It is not my business. It is not my company. Is that the quote regarding Bardoc? It is not my company. You also make a number of allegations relating to members of the Labour Party. This is both untrue and misleading. Well, listen, you stupid woman. I don't care how fancy a solicitor's firm you are. You're not here responsible representing the Labour Party, are you? Let's look at this. Number 24. I can say what I want about the Labour Party. What are you writing to me on behalf of the Labour Party for? Your clients are Medlock Medical Practice, Royton Medical Practice and Dr CHAUHAN. So on what basis are you objecting to me criticising the Labour Party? You're not here representing the Labour Party. If the Labour Party want to sue me, bring it on. Come on, Sir Keir Starmer, bring it on. Jimmy Samosa, let's have it. Debbie Abrams, come on. On the 11th of November 2022, you posted to your Facebook page accusing the Oldham Times. Since when was the Oldham Times your client? There is no evidence of patients having horrific experiences. Well, I was in that public meeting and I heard patients share their horrific experiences. My comments are entirely incorrect. Did or did not a senior figure at Royton Medical Practice repeatedly lying, attempt to mislead the inspector? They presented findings that the inspector said was false. And if it didn't say if the report didn't say it was false, it clearly said, you showed us this, but we found something completely different. What is that? What is that? And I systematically went through it. I didn't make it up, I systematically went through it line by line. My comments are entirely incorrect. Well, on what basis are my comments entirely incorrect? I accuse the Oldham Times of continuing to help hide Dr CHAUHAN's role in Royton Medical Centre. Until I named Dr CHAUHAN's role in Royton Medical Centre, the Oldham Times didn't name him. Why didn't the Oldham Times name him? And if the Oldham Times object to me saying they hid it, the Oldham Times can sue me. It's got nothing to do with Royton Medical Centre. Deathtrap, well, clearly I quantified what I mean by deathtrap. And I also tagged Dr CHAUHAN and referred to Royton Medical Centre directly in the post. Since when was drawing? You've just already confirmed Dr CHAUHAN is responsible for Royton Medical Centre. You've already confirmed that in this correspondence with me. On the 13th of November 2022, you published the following YouTube video titled Defending the Indefensible as Jim McMahon MP fails to condemn the deathtrap doctor's surgery. I make false allegations, including apparently you can go and hang out there and do what you want to do without a DBS check. What other conclusion am I meant to draw when you've not had DBS checks, when your staff haven't? Here we go. Trying it on. I refer to Peter and suggest our client employed staff that have sex with grannies. I did no such thing. I don't suggest your client employed staff that have sex with grannies. What I'm demonstrating, what I'm highlighting are the dangers of what happens when you employ staff without DBS checks. Thank you, Salia. What, and anyone who watches that content in its entirety will see what I was making reference to. The dangers of what happens when you hire staff without DBS checks, and Royton Medical Centre hired staff without DBS checks, and worse than that, in its defence, it tried to claim, and forgive me if I've got this wrong, but it tries to claim that you can self-declare what your criminal convictions are. The video also includes an allegation of fraud. I don't allege fraud. And backfilling of paperwork before the inspectors arrived to get the house in order, with reference to ink still being wet. I was hypothesizing. I was ridiculing. Yes. I called it a dodgy doctor's surgery. They're going to sue me for calling it a dodgy doctor's surgery. Well, the CQC found its leadership to be inadequate. When 8 out of the 9 staff believe they work for someone else, I think I'm right to call it a dodgy doctor's surgery. When your staff don't even know who they work for. When the staff don't even know who they work for. The surgery having issues with stock levels and anyone leaving. Well, the surgery does have issues with stock levels, and there was issues around the dangerous drugs. Well, all drugs are dangerous, aren't they? All medicine is dangerous if you took the wrong way. And again, in the CQC report, there's some damning findings about the way in which prescriptions were handed out and repeat prescriptions were handed out. For the avoidance of doubt, both Royton and Dr CHAUHAN have always acted with integrity. The allegations of misconduct, I don't make any allegations of misconduct. I don't make any allegations of criminal conduct, because if they had, you'd have told me what they were. And the use of medications which are not fit for purpose are fiercely denied. Well, take it up with the CQC. Take it up with the CQC. These allegations have caused immense distress for our clients and have a serious impact on our client's reputation. No, the CQC report has a serious impact on your client's reputation. Again, deathtrap. I tagged in Dr CHAUHAN, referred directly to Royton Medical Centre. You also tagged various journalists in your tweets in your attempts to disseminate the false and misleading allegations. I put up the links to the CQC report. I've shared with you, all of you. I've put, every time I've done any of this, I put up the links to the actual reports. On the 15th of November, a further YouTube video was posted by titled "More Reasons to Question Mandy and Her Mirpuri Mare." Death trap, well, I've quantified that. Enabling the employment of sex offenders. So you admit it. You admit it. But I didn't say they hired sex offenders or people who have sex with grannies or anything. But the failure of the DBS checks leaves them open too. And here you go. It leaves them vulnerable to hiring people who sexually assault women. If you've not done a DBS check, how do you not know? Someone with a criminal record of assaulting an elderly people, if you've not done the DBS checks, how do you know? Other criminal convictions including theft, if you've not done the DBS checks, how do you know? Stealing records and selling them, if you've not done the DBS checks, how do you know? Safeguarding is a risk. Mate, the statutory failings made reference to safeguarding. The statutory breaches made reference to that. I don't say your client's engaged in malpractice and has been falsifying records in the way you try. This is hugely misleading to the ordinary reasonable person. On the 16th of November 2022, in a Facebook post, he referred to the doctor and his deathtrap medical centre and insert a photograph of Dr CHAUHAN in his post. Well, I've quantified. Is Dr CHAUHAN responsible for Royton Medical Centre? Yes, he is. Am I right to use the word to describe, have that opinion to use the word to describe Royton Medical Centre when my definition of Royton Medical Centre is a place, structure or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous? Again, object to death trap. Our client denies that patients are at risk at its surgery. You allege that our clients are engaged in conduct which is likely to harm or kill another. No, that's your definition of death trap. My definition of death trap as per the Oxford Dictionary. A place, structure or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous. So you can make up your own definition of a word and deny it, but I never accused you of that. Our clients continue to act in the best interest of their patients and provide services which are beneficial to the local community. On 16th of November 2022, two further YouTube videos were published by you titled "Amanda CHADDERTON Attempts Deflection in a Town Now Too Wise for Her Deception," and Oldham Council Deputy Mayor exposed in another scandal. Both videos refer to Royton being a death trap. You're not keen on the word death trap, but does it hurt you? Does it hurt the doctor for me to describe Royton Medical Centre as a death trap, as in a place, structure or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous? Dr CHAUHAN, your own patients believe this. The CQC, what do you think it said, Dr CHAUHAN? What do you think it identified when paperwork was being signed off in the wrong way or the wrong order, when medicines weren't being checked in the way they were, when the medical boxes didn't have the right equipment, when your staff weren't DBS checked? What do you think all of that concludes to? Not calling women back for smear tests. What do you think all that means? Is it not dangerous? Is it not potentially very dangerous? Because that's what the word death trap means. Potentially very dangerous. On the 20th of November 22, you reshared the video Royton Medical Centre, blah, 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 and likened the practice of Royton as no different in its own way to turning away from a gang rape of little girls. Actually, I didn't do that. Again, I was making the point of the failure of the politicians to criticise it, and the comparison was that. Because I maintain this, that the politicians aren't criticising Royton Medical Centre, Amanda CHADDERTON isn't, and Jim McMahon isn't, because Dr CHAUHAN is a Labour politician. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to hold that opinion. To liken our client's practice to such criminality is absolutely absurd. Well, I've not likened it to that level of criminality, have I? You're just trying to make something up. You're just trying to make something up. Undoubtedly, the false allegations made by you reach the threshold of serious harm. Well, I've not made the allegations you're claiming. They attack a medical practice and a doctor who holds a trusted position in society. Well, if he holds a trusted position in society, why is he not addressing his patients? After the CQC report was published, why did his name disappear from the webpage? Why did the names disappear from the webpage? So that's A done. B is allegations of fraud or impropriety. I make posting relating to backdating of information that I claim. No, I didn't do that. And if I did, I didn't do it in the way you're saying it. I'm trying to interpret. I'm trying to make sense of what the Care Quality Commission is saying. And if you're denying, then fine. You also refer to Dr CHAUHAN being connected with Beacon GP Care Limited. Well, he is. Company's House have him as one of its directors. You insinuate in that post that Dr CHAUHAN has an interesting financial arrangement with Beacon GP Care Limited. Well, it's in the Care Quality Commission report that they belong to this umbrella group and all the rest of it with Beacon GP Care Limited. In fact, some of the staff thought they worked for Beacon GP Care Limited. And since when was saying an interesting financial arrangement is me alluding to impropriety or misconduct? Since when? I find it interesting. I find it very interesting that a senior partner of a GP surgery feels the need to outsource services via a company he owns. I find that interesting. How am I harming Dr CHAUHAN's reputation by using the word interesting? How am I harming Dr CHAUHAN's reputation by using the term interesting to draw attention or make reference to his links with another company who's involved in delivering services at Royton Medical Centre? Apparently it's a false allegation of impropriety. How? You've got all of that from me drawing to attention Beacon GP Care Limited that is named in the CQC report. On the 17th of November 2022, you published a YouTube video titled, "Would Punjabi Samosas Out of Date? Brother Jamal has Bangladeshi best mates." I like that. Would Punjabi Samosas out of date? Brother Jamal has Bangladeshi best mates. Within the video, there are various allegations of fraud and impropriety. Well, if they are, tell me what they were. You also refer to a cover-up conducted by politicians in relation to our client, including Dr CHAUHAN. Further reference made to this practice as death trap. Would Punjabi Samosas out of date? Brother Jamal as Bangladeshi best mates was reference to how Jim McMahon, in reference to the boundary changes, wasn't it? And the boundary changes hasn't gone through. So the Bangladeshi power base is still powerful in Royton West and Oldham West and Royton, because the St. Mary, I mean, you've all seen it. You all knew what that was about. From 16th of November 2022 onwards, he published various social media posts in relation to Dr. CHAUHAN in his connection to Bardoc Limited. Whoa, 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 whoa. I knew nothing about Bardoc Limited. Louis Hamblett and Councillor Kenyon, Mark Kenyon, and it was reported in the Oldham Evening Chronicle. For example, in a tweet published, he referred to Dr. CHAUHAN being paid directly over £20,000. Well, that was published. And received £80,000 for a company was published. Louis Hamblett and Mark Kenyon made specific reference to that. You suggest that Dr. CHAUHAN has failed to declare his interest in Bardoc Limited? No. Louis Hamblett, Councillor Hamblett and Councillor Mark Kenyon said it. I did pull up his declarations of interest, and the section where the contract should have been declared weren't. On the 18th of November, you reshared a link to an article posted by the Oldham Evening Chronicle. See, there you go. So I shared an article. How is that defamation? I shared a newspaper article. This article has since been deleted, yet you sought to repost a link to the Google cache page which archives deleted pages. This is a direct attempt to resurface a defamatory article which relates to Dr. CHAUHAN. How am I supposed to know it's a defamatory article which relates to Dr. CHAUHAN? Am I a mind reader? Do any of you see Oldham Evening Chronicle posting anything? An apology to say it was a defamatory article? Has anyone seen that? And furthermore, that information was published by Neil Wilby, of which Dr. CHAUHAN is giving the interviews to. Neil Wilby still got it up. The Lib Dems have still got it up. And the Oldham Times make reference to it. Am I a mind reader? This is a direct attempt to resurface a defamatory article which relates to Dr. CHAUHAN. How do I know it's a defamatory article when the information in that article is about direct payments being made to Dr. CHAUHAN via Bardoc, and which have since exposed using public documents that have gone through line by line of over £500,000 of third-party transactions declared in submitted accounts by Bardoc to Dr. CHAUHAN and other directors, totaling what? £1.5 million, give or take. You find it uncomfortable. You might not want it in the public domain. You might not want me talking about it. But threatening to sue me? Threatening to sue me? That's called bullying. For the avoidance of doubt, Dr. CHAUHAN is a director of Bardoc Limited. There you go. He is a director of Bardoc Limited, yet in the newspaper, he's clearly said, he's quoted as saying, Bardoc is not my company. So are you now confirming Dr. CHAUHAN lied? Are we to believe that an educated man such as Dr. CHAUHAN does not know he was a director, and that being a director means it's his company? Exactly, Sally Ann. Allegations relate to a contract swabbing service is being offered in the workplace, teaching individuals to swab themselves. So that's 600, 700, 800, I don't know. Best part of $1 million. You'll have to ask the council, I don't know. We know so far 600 and something thousand, don't we, so far? The swabbing services contract isn't actually doing swabbing services. What the actual content is, according to the solicitors, and here it is to teach individuals to swab themselves. So Oldham Council, according to this, and I can only interpret what the information is in front of me from Dr CHAUHAN's own solicitors, is that Bardoc Limited, a company he is a director of, a company he is also the declared chief executive officer of, now, but at the time, so before he became the chief executive officer, he was the chief clinical officer for Bardoc, and he'd held that position for a number of years. So if I'm reading this right, this contract of 600, 700, 800, I don't know, but, you know, a substantial amount of money, is to teach individuals to swab themselves. To teach individuals to swab themselves. I think someone needs to submit a Freedom of Information request to Oldham Council to confirm exactly what they'd contracted out. Am I reading this right? Has Oldham Council funded one of Dr CHAUHAN's companies, as confirmed here? Nearly £1 million, 600, you know, 700, I don't know, but, you know, up at the other side of £500,000, definitely, to teach people to swab themselves. Well, how many people have they taught to swab themselves? Put the obvious to one side, Denise. Every pack of swabs has a printed instruction sheet, including step-by-step pictures of how to swab yourself. Put the obvious to one side. Good evening, Liam. What do you make of this? What exactly has Oldham Council paid Bardoc for? Because reading this, Bardoc were paid an obscene amount of money to teach people how to swab themselves. For those of you who are joining me, it's 11 o'clock. Are you still with me? Sorry, I've got carried away. I've clearly got carried away with it. Let me see how many of you are still with me. Oh no, you're still there. 251 of you. Indeed, mate. We understand that the decision was made by Bardoc to bid for the swabbing services. What's any of this got to do with me? So you're not making any allegations towards me, are you? You understand that Bardoc was subsequently awarded? Where have you got that understanding from? Dr CHAUHAN was nothing but transparent with both the council and Bardoc. So why is it not declared? Why is it not declared in the contract section of his declaration of interests? And why is the chief executive, Dirty Harry Caffrell, trying to legitimise it by saying Dr CHAUHAN, declared it to his close colleagues? If Harry Caffrell has said that, and he's quoted after having said that in the newspapers, not me, if Harry Caffrell has said that, then Harry Caffrell should issue a statement as to whether or not the right and proper forms were completed. It's simple. Were the right and proper forms completed? And if all of this was true, and there's nothing to see here, why would Amanda CHADDERTON have gone on record to have said it's important to remember that Bardoc is a not-for-profit organisation. You feel foolish now, Amanda CHADDERTON. Did you know at the time that Bardoc wasn't a not-for-profit organisation, that Dr CHAUHAN was previously the Chief Clinical Officer for Bardoc? How much did he earn there? Were you aware that he was the Chief Executive Officer for Bardoc? How much money did he earn there? And were you aware that he'd claimed more than £500,000 in third-party transactions through Bardoc? Not-for-profit clearly means something else to Amanda CHADDERTON than it does to most of us. The allegations made in the Oldham Chronicle article are false and misleading. What's that got to do with me? If the allegations in the Oldham Chronicle are false and misleading, take it up with the Oldham Chronicle. Your posts and videos which address Dr CHAUHAN's relationship with Bardoc and refer to payments made to Dr CHAUHAN are also false and misleading. How? I've got the information from the annual accounts year after year after year from Bardoc. Third-party transactions. How is that false and misleading? Dr CHAUHAN has always acted with integrity and in accordance with his duties. That may be. That may be. But the accounts clearly show he's took over £500,000 in third-party transactions. Listed. Despite the deletion of the article by the Oldham Chronicle, you continue to post various tweets referring to the article, tagging both the Oldham Chronicle and Dr CHAUHAN, directing readers to the cached article. What whatever solicitors fail to understand is, I am not a mind reader. If the Oldham Chronicle's article is defamatory and misleading, and if they've pulled it because it's inaccurate, then it's for the Oldham article to publish a correction. And what would ordinarily happen is the Oldham article would publish a correction on that actual article itself, updated with whatever. I'm not a mind reader. And I'll continue to use the article until the Oldham Chronicle confirm that what they wrote was false, inaccurate, misleading, defamatory, whatever it is. Allegations in relation to Medlock. You also make a series of false allegations in relation to Medlock. On the 17th of November 2022, you refer to Medlock being exposed for serious failings and facing damning criticism after an inspection by the Care Quality Commission. Multiple statutory breaches. Multiple statutory breaches. Those are serious failings, people. The CQC don't go around to doctor surgery and report them for statutory breaches. I know Jim McMahon might want to normalise it and say, ooh, this got it and that got it and something else got it. But this isn't normal. So what is that false there? Where is that false? It did face damning criticism. Further, on the 17th of November, with Punjabi samosas out of date. The title of the video also contains racist connotations and is highly derogatory. Get stuffed racist connotations. It's a metaphor. Do you understand what a metaphor is? It's a metaphor. It's in reference to the bloc vote and the power of the bloc vote and different factions within the Muslim community, the Pakistani factions and the Bangladeshi faction. If you can't pick up on that nuance, that's your own fault. But racist it is not. Since when did... Listen, you stick to being a solicitor, sweet. Or whatever it is you are. Racist connotations, my ass. Highly derogatory. Well, if it's highly derogatory, I'm making reference to Brother Jamal. Brother Jamal can sue me if he wants. But Brother Jamal isn't one of your clients, is he? On the 18th of November 2022, in a Facebook post, you referred to Medlock and encouraged individuals to contact local MPs and councillors to request a public statement condemning the Labour Party politician, Deputy Mayor Dr CHAUHAN, and requested that Dr CHAUHAN and various leaders be summoned to hold Dr CHAUHAN to account. How is that defamation? I want Dr CHAUHAN, one of the most senior politicians in Oldham, who's responsible for these medical centres, to answer the questions, to meet with the patients and answer their questions. This is a democracy. I know you lot don't want it to be, but this is a democracy. And me having this position is not unlawful. Encouraging people to contact local MPs and councillors. Since when did encouraging people to contact your MP and your councillor become unlawful? Since when? On the 20th of November 22, he also posted a YouTube video titled, "With the Red Wall Rising, the Independents Take a Hiding," including various false allegations in relation to Medlock. Well, you'll have to quantify them, because you've not quantified them so far, have you? And then, finally, the attack on Dr CHAUHAN's character. Across various posts, you refer to Dr CHAUHAN's inadequate leadership and characterise him as a liar. Well, let's look at two things. The inadequate leadership, you stupid woman, is not from me. The inadequate leadership is from the Care Quality Commission that judged the governance as inadequate. The Care Quality Commission confirmed that, not me. That's where the word inadequate comes from. I characterise him as a liar. I don't characterise him as a liar at all. I think he's doing a very good job himself without me doing anything. You also refer to Dr CHAUHAN as being bad news. Well, I think he is bad news. He's made the newspaper headlines, hasn't he? Are you going to read those newspaper stories into Royton Medical Centre and Medlock Medical Centre, or the stuff to do with Bardoc, and see them as good news stories? Of course they're bad news. And since one was using the term bad news defamatory, you called him bad news? Bad news? Of course, the fact that they're now saying I characterise him as a liar means that at no point have, you know. I love it. Listen, we'll be watching these long videos and clocking no chargeable time to him. Oh my. Whilst you refer to both Royton and Medlock, we consider the principal incentive for you posting on social media is to destroy the reputation of Dr CHAUHAN. Absolutely not. I take offence to that. If my principal incentive was to destroy the reputation of Dr CHAUHAN, I would have done it at any point during the last 4 years. My principal incentive is to share with the people of my town the damning findings into Royton Medical Centre and Medlock Medical Centre. And if Dr CHAUHAN feels his reputation has been destroyed. It is not a consequence of me. It's a consequence of the Care Quality Commission inspection into his medical centres. All of the posts referred to above and enclosed with this letter refer to Dr. CHAUHAN. You refer in post to this being the end of Dr. CHAUHAN's political career. I believe it is. I believe this is the end of Dr. CHAUHAN's political career. Is that an unlawful position to have? Is that a defamatory position to have? It's an opinion. I believe it's the end of Dr. CHAUHAN's political career. He's the most senior doctor. He's the, he managed the health portfolio in Oldham Council. He was seen as the expert of health. When he spoke on health matters, he spoke with authority. And in his position as doctor. Yet the two medical centres that he's responsible for have both been found by the Care Quality Commission statutory breaches, both of them. So how? How is it on me? How is that on me? The social media posts are evidently designed to attack his credibility as a doctor. At no point have I ever attacked his credibility as a doctor. In fact, if you listen to the videos at one point, I'm 100% certain I said, I've heard he's a decent doctor. I've heard he's a decent GP. The people who see him, who I've known and so on, say he's a decent GP. And constantly referring to exposing him. Well, I have, haven't I? Because prior to me bringing his role at Royton Medical Centre to public attention, many members of the public didn't know because his name had been removed from the web page at Royton Medical Centre, and I didn't do that. We consider your posts are an attempt to remove him from any public office position held. Well, campaigning against politicians, because that's what you've now shifted to, campaigning against politicians in this country is legal. It's lawful. As above, you make a number of allegations relating that the Dr. CHAUHAN acting improperly and engaging in criminal conduct. I don't make any allegations relating to Dr. CHAUHAN engaging in criminal conduct. If I had, he'd have listed them. He'd have named them. I encourage people to report Dr. CHAUHAN to the medical board for lying and presenting fabricated paperwork. Well, the paperwork that's been presented to the Care Quality Commission, the Care Quality Commission questioned the authenticity of the paperwork. It doesn't need me to do it. And encouraging people to report Dr. CHAUHAN, that's not a crime. If you feel Dr. CHAUHAN has come up short and he's your doctor, in fact, is that not what Jim McMahon himself has said in his letter? Yeah. He'll take on cases on a case-by-case basis relating to doctors. What do you think he's going to do? Amanda CHADDERTON made reference to the severity of what can happen. In your letter, in your YouTube video posted the 13th of November, you refer to above, you state that the Dr. CHAUHAN's purchase of Royton Youth Centre land by auction was less than transparent. It was less than transparent, but alluding to further impropriety. Indeed, I do. I question Oldham Council. I don't question Dr. CHAUHAN, I question Oldham Council. Oh, look, you suggest. No, I didn't suggest anything of the sort. Dr. CHAUHAN was behind the decision to remove the property from the sealed bidding process because he wanted the building. No, he did want the building. It's clear he wanted the building because it's in the bloody paperwork. But I don't suggest Dr. CHAUHAN was behind the decision. I've been clear. I questioned the council. And now you're defending the council's process. Well, it's not for you to defend the council's process. I don't believe that auction was the most transparent manner when the agreed process was sealed bids. Thank you, Sheila. 2 practicing and damning failures in both. For the avoidance of doubt, Dr. CHAUHAN is not embroiled in any scandal. Well, I'm afraid he is. Just because you want to doubt it doesn't mean that's the case. Ask the people of Oldham if he's embroiled in a scandal. Bardoc is a scandal. His failure to meet with his patients is scandalous. He conducts himself in a professional manner and has not engaged in any criminal activity. I've not said he's engaged in any criminal activity. I would believe that in conducting yourself in a professional manner is when something goes wrong, you meet with the people who are affected by it and share with them how you're going to put it right. But again, that's my opinion. The seriousness of the allegations you make have far-reaching consequences for our client. And insisting he has acted fraudulently. Where have you got that from? Where have I insisted that he has acted fraudulently? Where have I accused Dr. CHAUHAN of fraud? I haven't. Nor have they been able to demonstrate anywhere that I have. Then they're going about defamation. Our client, and in particular Dr. CHAUHAN, who forms the subject matter of your smear campaign, it's not a smear campaign. If Dr. CHAUHAN tomorrow met with the people of Royton or the people of Failsworth and gave him the reassurance, I would have nothing but praise for Dr. CHAUHAN. I still want to know all about Bardoc. Maybe he could, subcontract me some. I'm joking. He's been less distraught and distressed by the false allegations made by you. What false allegations? You've not quantified any. The false allegations have already caused our client serious harm and have left employees at both Medlock and Royton seriously distressed. How am I responsible for that? Oh, here we go. The allegations has caused serious financial harm. I've caused him serious financial harm. Our client's patients are at increased risk of believing the false allegations. What false allegations? Thank you. It's that, isn't it? Staff at Royton and Medlock have also raised a number of concerns following the publication of the misleading. Oh, now they're saying they're misleading. You can't even be consistent with your words. Are they false allegations? Are they misleading allegations? Because one isn't the same as the other. Members of staff have been left very upset. I'm sure they have. And distressed by the untrue statements. What untrue statements? Being made about their workplace. Take it up with the Care Quality Commission. Take it up with the Care Quality Commission. Multiple breaches in the inspections. They are also concerned for their personal safety when attending the workplace for fear of being targeted. Oh my God. They're fearful of their personal safety. Have I made any reference to any member of staff? Dr CHAUHAN has already been forced to write to Greater Manchester Integrated Care Partnership in relation to your conduct due to worry concerning and anxiety has caused him, his family, and he's now the victim. Dr CHAUHAN is now the victim. All of this would never have happened if Dr CHAUHAN's name had not been removed from that Royton Medical Centre webpage, or if Dr CHAUHAN had addressed the people of Royton or the people of Failsworth. But me bringing it to public attention, he is now the victim, and I've caused him and his family and staff members worry, concern and anxiety. Apparently, Greater Manchester Police have increased neighbourhood patrols in Royton as a consequence, with a priority response. On-site security presence is also being considered and kept under review. The Oldham lead for the Greater Manchester Integrated Care Partnership online campaign designed to cast doubt over Dr CHAUHAN's capabilities as a doctor. Listen, the Care Quality Commission has casted doubt over the governance of the Royton Medical Centre. Is determined it to be inadequate. Not me, the Care Quality Commission. Clearly, your campaign is targeting Dr CHAUHAN and his various medical practice in order to attack his credibility and encourage others to shun or avoid his services. Are you a mind reader? That's not what I'm doing at all. Is it unlawful, illegal, to go through the Care Quality Commission's report that they published online? There has also been a number of patients which have left our client's practice following the publication of your social media posts. Since the 8th of November 25 patients have left their practice and 5 patients have left Medlock. So 30 patients have left Medlock. There is no evidence to suggest that they've left because of anything I've shared that is untrue. Listen, if I was one of Dr CHAUHAN's patients and I didn't know about the Care Quality Commission report, because a lot of people didn't, and I'm flattered. I genuinely am. But the failings of the Royton Medical Centre were published in the Oldham Chronicle and the Oldham Times, and they have thousands of viewers. People buy their newspapers. They have tens of thousands of viewers. If 30 people, I'm surprised only 30 people have left. I'm genuinely surprised only 30 people have left. Because if I was a patient, I'd have left. Now you can't pin that on me, but you're trying. Clearly the defamatory statements published by you have caused serious financial harm to our clients. There is no reasonable basis on which you will be able to defend our client's claim in defamation. I think I've demonstrated more than a reasonable basis on how I'm going to defend myself. You have made and repeated numerous times very serious allegations. No, I haven't. Provided no substantial evidence for these claims. It's the Care Quality Commission's report, not substantial evidence. We have also set out why these allegations are false and misleading. No, you haven't. You have clearly set out with the intention to harm our client's business and reputation. No, I haven't. We consider a court would agree that the false allegations reach the threshold of seriousness. Well, try it on. Try it on. Remedies. At this stage, although our client has a right to payments in damages, no they don't, we propose not to demand a damages payment in order to resolve this matter quickly. Therefore, to resolve matters without the need for an injunction or legal proceedings to be issued, our clients require you to sign the undertakings of the following. The immediate removal and permanent deletion of social media posts which refer to our client on any platform in hard copy. So what they want me to do is never speak about Dr. CHAUHAN again. He's a politician. I will criticise politicians. I will praise politicians. So that's what it's about. Stay quiet again. And to apologise, the contents of which are to be agreed to be posted on your social media page, including a Twitter, Facebook and YouTube page for a period of at least 28 days with a pinned apology. All that's been put in front of me. And I say this with all sincerity. If I've said anything wrong or inaccurate or in any way misleading, and they're genuine, Dr. CHAUHAN or his solicitors are genuine in their engagements with me, without attempting to bully me or intimidate me, I'm happy to apologise. I'll be the first to apologise. If I've said anything untoward, then please demonstrate it and I'll be the first to apologise. And after all of that, should you fail to acknowledge this letter and perform the enclosed undertakings within 48 hours, we expect to be instructed to issue proceedings against you. 48 hours, our client considers sufficient time to enable you to obtain independent legal advice should you wish to do so. I just wish Dr. CHAUHAN had spent a tenth of that time speaking to the people of Royton, listening firsthand to their concerns. That old lady and her friend. Same with the people of Failsworth. You're picking the wrong fight here, Dr. CHAUHAN. And you can take me to court if you still want. I'm not a rich man, so good luck with that. But you can take me to court if you want. And we'll go through all of this. But it's too late for you here, mate. You're picking the wrong fight with the wrong person in the wrong way. The failings at Royton Medical Centre have not been fabricated. They've been published by the Care Quality Commission. The failings at Medlock Medical Centre in Failsworth have also been published by the Care Quality Commission. Multiple breaches at both medical centres have been identified and both medical centres belong to you. Your arrangement with Beacon, your own company that you subcontract to or whatever the arrangement is, your own staff at Royton were unsure who they work for. I'm sure it was the same at Medlock. Your own staff at Medlock were also unsure. I'm not sure, but I'll go and have a look. But I'm pretty sure it was consistent. Come on, Dr. CHAUHAN. When your staff don't even know who they work for. The DBS checks haven't been done at one place. There is a way through this for you. Meet with your patients. Face them. You've took money from them or via them. You're claiming I've caused you serious financial harm and you've had 30 patients leave and you're trying to pin it on me. You've got no evidence it's on anything to do with me. You've gone to this solicitor to threaten me. 79 points in a letter. And I've mocked it, and I have mocked it because it's ridiculous. The criticisms against you, they're legitimate, Dr. CHAUHAN. You're the most senior, during COVID, people looked to you. As well as being a doctor, you were the lead member of Health and Oldham Council. Yet here it comes out, you've got, 16, 17 companies. You claim Bardoc isn't your company, your solicitors claim it is, by saying you're the directors, because that's what it means when you're a director. Amanda CHADDERTON sticks her neck out for you, saying it's important to remember it's not for profit. Yet the paperwork for Bardoc shows you've taken over £500,000 in third-party payments. And between you and the other directors, it's well over, close to £1.5 million. And that's separate to anything you'll earn in your paid role there, which is in addition to anything you earn in your paid role in your various GP surgeries, which is in addition to your paid roles in your other companies, which is in addition to your paid role as a counsellor. Picking on me isn't going to fix this for you. Fixing, and I'll use the word again, horrific failings at both surgeries. And I've used the word death trap because I've used it. Because I genuinely believe what the CQC found was dangerous, potentially dangerous. Don't you? Come on. Don't you think it was potentially dangerous what the CQC found? I've not accused you of hiring sex offenders. I've highlighted the danger of a practice where you've not DBS checked your staff. You know, in my life, when I've gone wrong, and we've all gone wrong, and it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and own your failings. It's just that. It's exactly what you say, mate. Owning your failings. But then what I've found in my life is I've got people who trust me, who value me, who I value likewise, who help you regain your moral compass and remind you who you are and why you did it. I don't believe anyone becomes a doctor who doesn't care about people. I don't. I genuinely don't. I've got friends of mine who are doctors, and I've seen how hard they've worked to become doctors and the crazy hours they put in. But somewhere in all of this, Dr. C, you've lost sight of what's important. So if your solicitors want to write to me, and I did write back to them, I wrote back to them something very, very simple, Sally Ann, because what they've written to me does not conform to the... there's a framework they've got to follow where they set out what I've done to who and how, and they've not done that. I mean, at one point, you can see yourself, they're representing the Oldham Times, they're representing the Labour Party, and they're legitimising, they're explaining themselves. That's not how this process is meant to work. It's meant to be very clear. I said this, I said this, I said this. This is what is defamatory with the evidence. They've not done that. You can see what they've done. I understand what they've done. With all of those words, they tried to intimidate me, they tried to bully me, and they tried to silence me. Well, they're just the next lot who've done that, aren't they? They're just the next lot who've done that. Sadly, it appears that the only way I'm going to be silenced is by forcing to take employment elsewhere. And that's because we can't get enough people to support these transmissions. I've got more content, but I'm out of time. It's 11:45. I actually promised I was going to help the Royton Independents tomorrow, try and get themselves registered so they become a political party. In between all of this, I do spend my time helping people directly, organisations, individuals. I've enjoyed it. I found purpose in it. I found value in it. And if I'm honest, it's, you know, I've taken a lot from it. I've been able to invest myself into it. Yeah, purpose. I found purpose. So it's going to be a shame. To all of you who have committed the £50, let's see where we end up. The same with all of you who've subscribed. Let's see where we end up. There's nothing else I can say to that. Hopefully 30 of you will contact me and want to come and share a meal with me in a couple of weeks. Whatever happens, I think I'd like that. And yeah, if these transmissions are of value, and I think they are of value, I'm just bringing it up. 282 people this evening. If they are value, please consider buying me a coffee. Better still, find 5 mates, £10 each, combined to be sponsor me on the 50 by 50, or like some people have. Come forward with £25 or £50. Listen, guys, without these transmissions, you know what's going to happen, and I know what's going to happen. No one else is going to do this. No one else is going to put the hours in. And even if they did put the hours in, and I don't say this with any arrogance, I do have a set of skills. And you've all received immense value from it for the last 4 years. I bid you a very good evening. Please, if I'm on value, then you need to support me.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.